So what do we learn this week about blue-green Merfolk in Rivals of Ixalan Standard? And I have to say, I was super impressed with the deck. I think this deck might actually be pretty legit. So record-wise, we played a league, we ended up 3-2. I feel like we could have done even better than that. So we struggled a little bit against Control, the approach deck in specific. But then on the other hand, we played blue-white cycling and absolutely crushed them. So I feel like we can beat Control because we beat the blue-white cycling version of Control, and we actually could have won that last game had we found a negate. We dug so desperately for that negate, and we just could not find it. But I was overall really impressed with the power level of this deck. So it looks like an aggro deck. It looks like you're just slamming creatures and attacking, but it's not really just an aggro deck. There's so much card draw with the Explorer creatures, with Silvergill deck, with Humana. There's so much resiliency because of the card draw that we're a little less likely to get blown out by Wrath than a typical straightforward dump out your hand, hope that it works out aggro deck. Plus, we have a lot of lords. I definitely underrated Deeproot Elite. Deeproot Elite was an all-star. It is one of the best Merfolk in Standard. I was super impressed by it. Jungleborn Pioneer, super good with Deeproot Elite. We have Merfolk Mistbinder and Kumana, which is also a lord. And then the finishing plan of Tempest Caller kind of depends on the matchup. Really good against creature decks. I guess against control decks, we don't really need it, but it is an interesting top-end choice. So I think the big thing I want to highlight about this deck is Humana Tyrant of Urzaka is really insane. I was super impressed with it. I think that if you play it like a Crypt Breaker, essentially, this slow card, and play Merfolk more like a kind of mid-range deck where you're building up this board presence, you're drawing extra cards, you always have a handful of cards, and eventually get to the point where you're putting counters on your team with Humana, it felt extremely powerful, and I was really, really impressed with Humana in specific. I'm pretty sure it's just straight up the best Merfolk in Standard. So I think that that was a big takeaway. Also, like I said, Deeproot Elite, very underrated by me. I thought it was kind of like, it's like a Metallic Mimic, but it is way better than Metallic Mimic, especially with stuff like Jungleborn Pioneer to move two counters around, you go aggressive with it, it pumps itself into a really big threat. It's almost like Thalia's Lieutenant. I think that's the best comparison to Deeproot Elite. You don't get the immediate counter on your whole team, but it grows really big on its own and can put counters on other things. So that's what it mostly reminded me of, kind of the Merfolk version of Thalia's Lieutenant. So I think the big thing is we don't know what build of Merfolk is best yet, and I think that's one of the things that's going to take time. We have some odd numbers. A single Jade Light Ranger, that's a really powerful card. Should it only be a one of? Is it better than Jungleborn Pioneer? I've seen other people playing Seafloor Oracles, Herald of Secret Streams in the main deck. Should we have more of those? Nissa was an all-star against control from the sideboard. Is it worthy of main deck slots? How do we kind of build with this tribe? And I think a lot of things are set in stone. Like, the things that are set in stone, in my opinion, are the 2-drops. You need to have 4 Silvergills, 4 Merfolk Branchwalkers, 4 Deeproot Elite. So that's 12 slots that are automatically filled in your Merfolk deck. Then you want 4 Kumana, so that's 16 slots that are filled in your Merfolk deck. You pretty much certainly want 4 Kumana Speaker, so we're up to 20 slots. Jade Bearer is a little more hit or miss, but it's probably okay. Jungleborn Pioneer. So I kind of feel like we have 20 slots that are the core of the Merfolk deck. Like, you're going to play those cards no matter what kind of Merfolk deck that you're building with. And then there's a bunch of other slots, another 15-ish slots for utility cards, and a bunch more Merfolk. You need another 8 to 10 Merfolk to really be tribal. And that's where we have Jade Bearer, Tempest Caller, the one Jade Light Ranger, some of those type of cards, the Jungleborn Pioneer. So I think there's a lot of flexibility and brewing and experimentation and testing to be done with those other slots. So that's my takeaway with the deck. I feel like the core is really good. The Kumana 2-drop core. Merfolk Mistbinder is also on that list, is must includes in the deck, with Humana Speaker. So I feel like that core of 20 to 24 cards is the foundation of a really good standard deck. But then we're testing and trying to figure out the other 10 to 15-ish cards to get the optimal build, and that's going to take some time. That's going to take some brewing and testing to really get it right. But I am very convinced, even after this 3-2 finish, which obviously could have went better, but 3-2 is fine. But I am very convinced that Merfolk is legitimate in Standard. This is powerful enough to be a deck. It's figuring out those other 15 slots and molding them to make Merfolk as good as it possibly can be. That's where we're at now. So if you have some ideas for those other 15 slots, how to really push this deck and make it tier 1, because I had a blast playing with it. I'm not really an aggro player by trade. That's not what I usually enjoy. But there's so much card draw, the ability to kind of go along with this deck, that I really had a blast playing it. So I'm hoping that we can tune it, figure it out, and really make Merfolk, one of the best decks in Standard, and I feel like the power is there. There's enough good cards in the core that we really have a chance. So give me your suggestions, what to do, how to build off that core to make the best Merfolk deck possible, because again, this is a very early model. This is one of the first drafts. There's not many decks that have been played with Merfolk yet. This is a very, very early stages of post-banning Rivals of Ixalan Standard. So give me your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.